Welcome back to the mid-season Invitational. As we speak, Europe's G2 Esports are setting up for an international trial by fire against the LCK Titan SKTelecom T1. And G2 definitely has a few things to shore up coming into this match because, man, does SKT still look pretty good.
Yeah, SKT is going to be pretty good, and G2 were a little sloppy. The lack of practice. Perks even went to Twitter.
Hey, that's you said your region.
Yeah, my region. Perks said it. You know, they were so confident in winning the playoffs, but then they all went on a little holiday. He said, yeah, the lack of practice was definitely felt in that game, so hopefully they can shore it up. But SKT, they're on the up and up. They
are. As we load up onto the draft, let's take a look at the lineups, the roster rundowns. It's the European LCS Spring Split Champions, G2 Esports. That is Kikis coming in the top lane. Trick stealing Barons in the jungle. Perks facing off against Faker in the mid lane. Emperor at AD carry, and his support keeping him safe and making the peel is Hybrid with Young Buck his coach.
Yeah, and they're going to go up against SKT. SKT obviously so far had a rough season. Obviously some roster changes overall, but their starting lineup for the day will be Duke in the top lane. Jungle will be Blank, no longer Bengi, and Blank, honestly, fantastic player to watch. Mid lane, Faker, he will go up against Perks, and that's just going to be great to see. Bang and Wolf will be AD carry and support respectively, and as always, the man that ties it all together is Coach Koma.
It amazes me that SKT can always find themselves in this position. It speaks a lot about the coaching staff. It speaks a lot about how this team prepares. And even with new members in and out in different positions as well, they still find the same level of ground and compete at the top level.
Koma is like an absolute beast. The man, like, he has too much. He's always happy, always smiling, always very polite. I've had the chance to talk to him a little bit through translation from Little Susie. And in the occasional chance you meet him in a hotel gym, he wrecks you. The guy is buff. He hides it very well, but like he makes you feel very insecure and inferior. So sound he has it
body,
all.
Sound mind, and sound Faker. League of Legends team. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be getting into picks and bans here. Faker, just a zillion ban in the mid lane as well. We're going to get through these picks and bans. Looks like LeBlanc will beat the next one. We knew we'd see these here as well.
Yeah, this time, no more leaving that a 0 open overall. And yeah, Perks versus Faker. The matchup that everybody's kind of waiting for. Look at the grin on Perks' face, and there's already some bans dropping in the mid lane, so it could be very interesting. Faker doesn't seem to care that much. It's like, nah, just another kid on the road to MSI title.
I wonder if the kind of Perks, you saw him kind of like, give himself the thinking bite lip, and he's like, do I just blind pick now against him because he wants to ban my stuff? Let's do this. Maokai, Nidalee, and Trundle as well banned out. It looks like Hybrid may get his peel. The Braum is still up there, one of his main champions throughout the season, but obviously just hovering, there's much more in that priority pick because the junglers are almost free reign except for that Nidalee.
Wow, and they're going for the Echo Lock.
Yeah.
Generally, this is where we see Kindred insta-lock because there was such a respectable gap in between Kindred and Graves, but it seems so far in the tournament that Echo has had a very high preference for a lot of these teams, and the only rough matchup so far has been that Trundle matchup early. We saw Kikis take some do well in terms of diming the enemy Echo in the early game, you know, when he was playing that Trundle. But right now with Trundle off the board, G2 really want that Echo, and they kind of sacrificed the Kindred for that. And the early rise here, technically a flex, but likely going mid lane here.
Right. For Faker, just a simple, solid play. And even out of last year's Worlds, you know, the year before when or a few years before, it was Faker playmaker on Gragas and whatnot.
Oh, the Mischievous grin here on the face of Perks when he's hovering Zed. The crowd's also loving it.
But they're never not going to.
Yeah, but they can wait though. They can seize a little bit more information, see if that rise is ultimately a flex. Yep. Why not? You can match the jungler here, pick pretty much anything.
I like that Karma pick.
And AD carry Lucian is probably what they want here though for Emperor. That's what I would think this is the rotation's going to be. Graves Lucian is what expected here.
Yes, Graves and Braum. Let's see what they lock in on the side here. Said that Ryze could be for Faker. Brought out last year's Worlds, and it wasn't the playmaker we see Faker, but you look at the statistics and he still had most damage on his team, providing the most in the fights and being the huge impact he always is. He just does it in different ways each time. Let's see what they decide. It's going to be that Sivir composition already. Wolf gets his Alistar, extremely deadly. We saw how much pressure that put on Chronologic Gaming, and now G2 has to answer for Europe.
Yeah, Alistar was god tier in the hands of Mata overall. Right now, Wolf
you're right, Mata,
going back
Wolf.
with it. Well, both of them for fantastic Alistar players. Both are the Korean support gods. SKT hasn't had to reveal that much so far. they've played against Supermassive, which is a little easier, one would think. It's good for Hybrid that he gets the Braum. It's a really big comfort pick for him. Generally, he used to lock it in whenever he could. So that's why I saw it this early. Generally, you can trade Braum for Alistar. Generally, teams don't mind that much. Korea generally even prefers Alistar. I just said generally 6 times, but that is the general consensus.
That's good that you can look from the inside out, though. Huge attribute. Seeing our final pick here, what is it going to be, Faker? That's exactly Zyra in the mid lane. We got it. Perfect. Lock it in.
So that means it's Echo mid then, though, with the Gragas lock in here for Kikis in the top lane.
That's a very good point. We haven't really seen anybody with Huhi start to bring that out once again. A few other regions, but new little AP change for him. Less on the parallel convergence for percent-wise, so we'll see if it affects how strong he can go in that mid lane. Final pick. This Poppy looks to put that Rise towards the mid, as you were expecting, Crepo, and it is locked in.
So Echo mid lane versus Rise. Interesting matchup. Obviously, Echo will never get 100 to 0 because you can always shift out. You have the zoning potential and the threat of the gap close, but do you really want the gap close jumping onto a Rise? I'm very interested to see how this matchup will go. Faker is a joy to watch when he's in his element on that Rise because he can out of nowhere turn a champion into dust, ashes and dust, just completely turn on that ultimate, wreck him, complete surprise. Has done it multiple times in the past.
Double teleport compositions from both teams. We are going to get quite a bit of action here, even pre-6 possibly, as we are about to go G2 Esports versus SKT, EU versus LCK.
Yeah, and that Echo early pick actually, the cost of that flex was that they wanted something that could knock people out of the Kindred ultimate. They picked Echo early, which means they gave up the Kindred and they needed a reaction to that pick to not give the strong teamfight power there. And that maybe is that Gragas barrel in the top lane. But a really strong teamfight composition from SKT.
I think as well, having Kikis on something like a Gragas, a little more strength, a little more carry, really suits him as well. The guy came out of the jungle playing so many variants. He loved to do damage. He thrives in that.
And then he went rather one-dimensional in the top lane, though.
Exactly.
Very tank-oriented player overall. Kind of preceded the meta game.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing, haha, Kikis is playing only tanks. Then it turned out tanks were the best thing in League of Legends for a while, and Kikis was laughing.
Bee's knees!
Yeah.
As always, let us know who you're standing behind at LOL Esports with the hashtag G2 win or the hashtag SKT win. We'll tally those votes and let you know who is winning throughout the game. And as we take to the Rift, the pulse of the players from around the world, it looks like Europe is looking to give their boys a little bit of a boost here. Everybody repping their MSI icons from EU, definitely helping out for this matchup, sporting the highest share of MSI icons.
Yeah, and I think it's just a prelude to the eventual result. Europe's just going to take on SKT.
Oh.
G2 is going to win the tournament.
I guess, I mean, it happened for CLG, right? The icons are there for CLG. The win.
Stats don't lie.
Can't wait. I'll be happy for you. We'll see how it goes. SKT took control very early in their game. There's no doubt about that against Supermassive, so we'll have to see really what can happen up against.
Yeah, poor Thaldrin in that game. Started out very early. Good trades against Duke. Oh, Fakers to flash. Perks with the ultimate BM. Generally, there's a gentleman's agreement that you laugh at each other in the mid lane. Faker starts hitting Perks a little bit. Woo. Hybrid shows up, throws out the Q, and Fakers to flash. That means if Trick shows up early, which he has done many times in the past, we could see a double flash dash onto Faker, and he could just drop for first spot. That would be phenomenal here. I'm sure the crowd would love it.
Perks don't mess around. He is ready to take the fight in. Probably said, Febivin, look, I'm going to do it too. Don't worry about it. We can go to dinner and talk about it later. A lot on the line here for the mid lane. Eyes will be focusing on these two players for the better part of the match.
Look at this invade, no ward here.
A little bit of love here from Bang & Wolf.
Looks like they warded over to stop the Krug Stone. So that means Small Krug probably went to G2 as they passed the lane here in the bot lane. Let's take a look at the Keystones. Surge on Faker's Rise.
Storm Raiders, yep.
Thunderlords for Perks. So just wants that early damage all in. Echo now more oriented towards the AP side instead of just going heavy tank due to the changes. And the early control in this lane from G2. Boomerang doesn't hit. That means Emperor is free to walk up and trade because when Boomerang is down, Saber has nothing left here. And the early trade does go towards the side of the Braum because of the concussive blow. So G2 looking to repeat from their first game. And Wolf with the adaptation. No pulverize, just instant heal level 1. Try and survive.
Great bits of pressure by Hybrid. He knows what the deal is. Triumphant Roar out coming in. not much you
You're
won't
happy.
do.
You're happy when you see that. When you play against an Alistar and he's healing level 1, that means he doesn't get access to combo until level 3, so you can't get flashed into the tower ever. It gives you the necessary freedom to play a little bit more aggressive in lane.
Yeah, Hybrid taking those shots. And really, Emperor, no need to follow up. He's going to be farming safely in the lane. And while this wave bunches up, I don't think they'll be able to provide too much aggression once it gets to the turret. So backing, it'll be a cleanup for Bang, but you fight the lane anyways when you're super. So.
Emperor needs to be careful that he doesn't drop too much CS going for these trades though, because if Bang actually lost it perfectly on the tower, he can get a CS advantage despite being pushed in.
Yeah. Very interesting. The Emperor would kind of throw that wave in. They wanted to say, hey, if we get there fast enough, right? They can't combo us out. They can just heal. They won't do much. Doesn't work out so far. We'll see how it pans out. It's only a few CS for now. That's when it gets bigger. This lane, going to be very interesting. We're talking about Storm Raider Surge, but also that passive movement speed for Perks if he gets that at the right time in his hits.
Yeah, and Echo,
to stop that.
Despite being a melee matchup, generally has a lot of early push in a lot of matchups.
Yeah.
Of course, Faker's flash is down, so he's never going to push here in this matchup, so we can't really gauge how it normally would have went. But that laning pattern here that he does, throw out the Q throughout the entire minion wave, always have the threat of E, and just playing super aggressive, pushing in, forcing the enemy mid laner to lost it on their tower.
Straight pressure onto this. And Wolf's able to stay goal side with those Winter's Bite. Very nicely done.
A little optimistic to gank an Alistar Silver lane that's already being pushed in while your Gragas is stuck in the top lane here. Not something we usually see.
That's a really good point.
Trick's usually pretty smart about where he reveals on the map. G2 did not need him to walk into lane for that poke. It does give them a little bit of lane control here. But it allows Blank to do what he likes best, is just take control of the other side of the map, move into the enemy jungle, and put some pressure here on the other lanes.
Banks 26-32, so they're still taking a few hits on that CS in the bot lane. 29-21 in the top here, as we haven't seen too much action. Everything leveled out. The junglers just back and forth right now, and Blank's going around just hard farming inside Trick's jungle.
Yeah, Duke just wants to stop Kikis from basing. He's already out of mana. Kikis can't
once they
really
show
go for
here, he's going to be
trades.
scared. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, Kikis wanted to base here because he was scared of Blank, but Blank shows up anyways, and you need to see, can Kikis make the outplay? He will likely just need Perks to teleport in, otherwise he's dead.
They call for it. Perks has already pushed the wave up a little bit, so he's back, but they've never been able to work off Faker's flash down.
Yeah, they haven't been able to work on Faker's flash being down, and this is all going back to Trick revealing in the bot lane.
Yep.
He reveals
Straight
in
to
an
top
already
for-
pushed up
yeah.
lane, and it basically tells Blank, you know what? The world is your oyster. My top laner, kill him whenever you want, dive him if you see fit. And Kikis is playing on islands like, guys, I need some help. My jungler's not here. Perks forces teleport, and suddenly Faker gets some more breathing room. It's fun how it's all connected on the Rift.
And nothing really came of it in a kill, but it did in CS. 41-27 now, as that whole wave pretty much was watched by Kikis flying to the turret. Perk still using his aggression as level 6 are getting quite close. We're almost halfway there for the mid laners on that level 5.
And this is one of the strengths from SKT overall. Just being able to control the pace of the game regardless of composition. Going even is honestly a fantastic talent because they know that they're stronger in the mid game. SKT don't really spiral out of control in terms of kills and deaths across the map. They play very calculated, and then later on they're strong. They still have to work a little bit on their team fighting. It has improved a lot towards the end of the season, but that was one of their major flaws overall because they didn't have the greatest season whatsoever. It was very reminiscent of their 2014 slump.
Yep. Not very happy with their last results of MSI, so see what they can do here. SKT moving in now. Looks like they finally get a little breathing room off of their turret.
A good combo by Wolf, but countered by Hybrid. Obviously, the particle just gets destroyed as it touches the shield, so Emperor should never actually take boomerang damage. Now Bang is desperately hoping that Emperor Qs the minion wave so he can get some mana back.
He'll walk himself into some spell shields. Both junglers down on the bot side here as Love in the top lane. Love tap back and forth. Not really doing too much to each other, but avoiding CSing for the time being.
Well, dash gets cancelled.
Wow, very nicely done. Aggression in, but they're able to turn it quickly. Does he want to stand toe-to-toe with Bang here? And SKT slightly gets these advantages in lane. Emperor very low now and close to having to use summoners. These are the 6s we were talking about, but Perks is 7 now. Comes up fast farming these lanes.
Yeah, he walks up to Faker, says, Faker, fight me. My jungler's not here. Joke, he is. But then Storm Raider Surge pops, and Faker can just walk out. And then, again, Trick reveals. So this gives more room for Blank to just keep on farming, get that Kindred rolling here, because Duke, he's fine in the lane here. 1v1, he has the pressure slightly on the Kikis. Snowballing. And Blank right now is heading down to the bot lane where Emperor, look at how low he is. Remember, they have access to that Kindred ultimate, so they can dive for a lot of seconds.
That's exactly what he wanted. Seeing that Relentless Pursuit be used, he has easy grab onto Emperor. That heal was already used as well. That's a kill. The first one going over to Bang. And it looks like they're going to make it out easy peasy on this one.
Yeah, Lamb's Respite and the Unbreakable overall, while teleports are both on cooldown, you have so much time. And it's so easy to dive that Lucian here. So that's a play that SKT has been setting up over time. That is not generated within a 10-second span. They saw Trick reveal in the mid lane, Blank casually pathed in, checked every mark, am I safe? Is there anything that will backfire? Nope. Oh well, let's pick up first spot.
Looking at inventories as well, they don't have to be too worried either. Rings and a null magic mantle from that Echo in the mid lane. He's not going to be putting out too much power yet. These kind of things, like you said, the Oyster is just creating pearls everywhere. Yep,
one pearl picked up here, and that matchup that was winning early gets turned around here. Really good patience from Bang & Wolf. They know the approach to win this bot lane matchup is sustain.
Yep.
And they did it. Carefully so, stayed even on CS. And eventually Emperor's over-aggression bites him, because he was so keen on winning lane against Bang & Wolf instead of just going for even CS that eventually Wolf had so much mana left that he could just start comboing aggressively.
Well, stylistically, that is Emperor, right? He likes to be aggressive.
Yeah,
he likes to kind of prove to himself that that's the way he should be playing.
And he also has been punished multiple times for that, usually in team fights, not so much in lane.
Yes. That's why, because he flashes in lane. But that's now both summoners down for him as they start to go aggressive on the fight. One more for each. Does not get hit. And now they're going to be turning this one around. The teleport, that's going to be coming in from Faker. Doesn't look like he has the speed to catch up just yet. The flash forward. The hit up from Wolf. And the plays are going to keep coming. Faker's looking to solidify one more and put in prison is Hybrid for another kill on the side of SKT. They start to turn up the heat 3-0.
Just like Mata earlier today, Wolf is showing that he also can play a phenomenal Alistar overall. Just gets the flash double combo on the farthest target, meaning that regardless whether you dash or not, both of you will get knocked up. What a fantastic play here.
Yep.
G2 was looking at the teleport and it's like, please don't let it be Faker. Let it be Duke. Just give me Duke, not Faker. It was Faker overall, and he did so much damage. Good flashing from Emperor, but at this point, just disengage. They're chasing the loss here. Wanting to trade back. Good spell shield here from Bang. Gets very close to getting popped here, but stays at the edge. And that's what SKT do. Very controlled.
Oh.
Bait you in. That's Faker's here, and look at his combo. Wolf, you would think he's going for Hybrid. I think he actually goes for Emperor. Yeah, he flashes for Emperor, and then Hybrid panic flashes out. But because the AoE is centered around Emperor, it is still a double knock-up here, so really good target selection. Hybrid still had flash, Emperor did not. Wolf had the brains, play was made.
Faker teleported right in front of Perks too. Perks was diving onto him and doing damage. Faker was like, see you later, buddy. I'll be in the bot lane having fun with your AD carry. That's just when you're seeing it happen and you can't do anything about it. Now they kind of have to pick up the pace. They have to find a way back in. Faker may be down 10 CS, but he is up altogether.
Yeah, up altogether because he has his core items finished, like the both mana items that Ryze needs, which he can translate into damage overall too. He's just already set for life. He's just looking at the Rod of Ages that he wants to finish so early. You can punish Ryze, say hypothetically speaking, if you get his flash down level 1 and dive him later on, but it didn't happen. Faker, even without a flash, leaves a big mark in this matchup.
Definitely more active on this Ryze. The World's kind of stayed in the mid lane, farmed it up, let top lane do most of the work, as it should have been. Marn was playing crazy, but here taking control of it. Knowing the summoners were down in the bot lane, SKT acts again, causing G2 to play quite reactive this game. Pushed up is G2 once again in the lane. Looks like they're going to be aggressed on. Unbreakable Will goes down, and they should be able to waltz out of this. So they grab a TP in their favor for an ultimate. Now back onto Perks. Chrono Break in the mid lane, so he's back to safety, but low mana. Not a lot of fight going to be able to come out of him.
And it almost felt like SKT was deliberately baiting that teleport from Kikis, because if you looked at the minimap, Duke was stepping back into lane, and he likely also was watching, but they just saw that they didn't even need the counter teleport. Yeah. So off that play, they generated TP advantage, and they may just use it here. There's a chance that Duke could just teleport in. They're pinging him out.
He is just about hiding in the brush, but he has that pressure on the turret. He's back to the brush in that top lane, as we see Wolf finding a ill fate in the bot.
I think they were surprised by Trick showing up because Blank was in the river, but they just didn't want to pull the trigger. Losing your support is okay because you don't lose any towers off the back of that. You still have the wave cleared. So that was SKT overstepping a little bit. Good punish by G2. Surprise visit by Trick.
Well, in general, they do have a little bit of vision, but Trick has stayed out of that. He's not showing himself anymore. They had a bit of a window where they could work with that ominousness, if you will. Where's Trick?
Use it to your advantage.
All right. Spell shield given, a little bit of mana back to Bang.
Oh, he can't?
No on the hunt. It looks like it was a cancel out there. Gragas ulti just went off, so we may have huffed that out.
Yeah, that could have been a Gragas ulti. Maybe the respect for Trick's flash, but likely since Duke had flash, that would have been the Gragas ulti. Good spot. Good spot.
Got him.
Gotta need a spotter. It was indeed a Gragas ulti, just been told.
All right, here's the other TP though. This is going to be Perks. He goes in hard. The Time Winder does hit Blank, but Blank's going to still walk out of range. They may need to leave Wolf on this one with the ult. Not being down, Respite actually leaves him up for a second, gives him the heal, and a last hit by Perks actually picks that up. They almost saved Wolf on that one.
Man, but Perks stops for the enemy support while still using his teleport.
Yeah.
So very uneven trade here. Wolf having no
like
issues.
The pawn for the bishop or the rook. You're losing a bigger piece in the end.
Sadly, if you get the support to the enemy Nexus, he doesn't transform into a queen. He still stays a support.
Dang. I'd love to get another mid laner in there. So Trick back.
Cyrus support, man.
Yeah. Trick back to farming up his jungle. He'll steal this mark away from Blank so he can't get himself too big, which we will check right now, actually. He's at 3 marks of the Kindred, so getting himself a little bit bigger. Faker just trying to control whatever lane he's in. Back to mid, pushes that up. 131, now up in CS from Perks trying to push in his lane as well. A lot of love being given to this bot lane
Faker's
now.
TPing. Unbreakable gets caught. Hybrid. Bold prediction, but I think Hybrid's dead.
Every time the opening happens, SKT is there within a matter of seconds. They're the first ones to see it. They literally almost plan each one, but if something like that happens, they adapt immediately.
Kikis! Should have played more solo queue. Should not went on vacation. Wolf not getting caught out though. No ultimate available. Oh, that is absolutely sick.
What?
That's just disgusting.
Oh, you can't see him. Walk back. Wow. They are literally toying with their food right now. Faker gets hit by Kikis here, but he's big enough to stand tall. A little bit of triumphant roar here. They're going to have to be careful of Emperor. Another fight towards the top side. We're coast to coast with the battles on this one, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the kill going around to Kikis. 3 down now for G2. Do they want more pain? They're saying, yes, sir, may I have another?
SKT, they make it look easy, but that's some impressive plays and decision-making overall. These little subtleties like Faker stopping for the barrel, knowing that he could get all in. But G2 making so many mistakes. Emperor, he dashed into the wall right there in the bottom of your screen. Kikis goes for the E-flash, fails it, and then does the ultimate tilt ulti. When you fail your body slam flash, he still tries to go for the cask, misses that too. Then he tries to make up for the play by dueling Faker.
Yep.
And he just drops the turnaround from Wolf to see that play going forward. And that was the only out. That's the only out he had, was to pulverize up, knock him into the pit for Faker to pick up the kill. SKT, honestly, a class above this iteration of G2 Esports. But for many people that haven't watched Europe, and it may sound like, look at this EU caster making excuses. This is not the G2 we're used to seeing, because they played so much crisper, so much better overall.
Right.
It is honestly disappointing to see what the lack of practice has done to this team.
They definitely were a team to find their fights, but choosing them much more accordingly.
Yeah, so many people have been caught here today on the rotation from bot to mid through blue jungle.
Yep.
But then the knock-in here on Faker. Wolf actually generates some vision too. Trick goes down. We know how that play ended. Let's see how this one goes.
5-0-0 now for Faker in the mid lane on that rise. An instant Lamb's Respite actually saved Blank's life here, and he's gonna stay alive throughout. It gets the heal from Bang. They're gonna be going for the full fight. Summoners used across the board, the exhaust as well from Wolf, and they're locking down the priority targets, looking for the ace, and they're headed for that mid lane.
Yeah, sadly no ace because Kiki is stuck in the top lane, but
right.
if he was there, he would have died as well. But it may as well have been an ace. That was such an impressive team fight. 4v4, they clean up all the opposition. Miniature ace.
Mini ace.
Mini ace.
Inside the Parker. It's all right.
But
got a little excited.
SKT's team fighting
ground rule
right there was very impressive, and that's something they had to work on throughout the entirety of the split, but they carried back with 2 members. They switched targets at necessary points. Faker was under siege there. Blank comes in for the help. They just really good at picking their targets, and they go down quick. Yes, it helps that Faker's 5-0. Now 6-0. But G2 have lost control. And while we watch that play again, this is another time where G2 is playing on the enemy side of the map right now. Look, they're playing in SKT's jungle, and that's something they did in their game earlier today as well. 23 of their 26 deaths were on the opposite side of the map. They were entirely, the entire time G2 was in the lead. Now they're down, and they're playing as if they're in the lead. They're not playing passive at all. Aggression, aggression, aggression.
There's a kill. They're on to Wolf. Now Perks is going to look for Faker, but he chooses the wrong direction. They're going for Hybrid. SKT instantly notices the target that can be taken down. They find the one that will fall the fastest each time. They chose to go for Hybrid on that one. They find him and actually almost find another. They do still take down Perks on that top side. We got a push from Emperor in the bot lane, but a lot of ground is being lost here by G2.
Yeah, and it's almost uncalculated aggression. It's like, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, it's wrong when it comes to aggression into the enemy jungle because SKT is just waiting here. Emperor gets away from Faker, but guess what? Knock, knock. That's blank.
There's every corner you turn, somebody from SKT will be there, and they are doing it all across the map. Duke with the engage in the mid lane, a little bit of help from Bang on that one, and they are methodically and surgically removing G2 and their objectives from the map.
And G2 are poised to start the first day here at MSI. 0-2.
Yep.
At least this game wasn't as winnable for them. They were behind from the get-go, honestly. SKT did a phenomenal job just slowing the pace down, looking for an opening that wasn't counterable. We go, another TP comes in, that's Faker.
Like SKT, power and numbers, standing together, moving as a whole, and G2 can't even find an opening. Well, yes, they are trying to get back in. Every time it's closed, the door is closed immediately.
Yeah, and it is just really nice to see how much this SKT lineup has improved, though. Because if we go throughout the split, everybody's like, yeah, SKT is a top-tier team. Whenever they come to an international event, they win, right? That's what they do. 5 OGN titles, like 2 Worlds titles overall. But it wasn't the case at all through the entirety of the year. They dropped so many games.
Up until the late weeks, they were the Freak of Freaks, Generic Green Wings.
I mean, they started their season really rough. They before IEM, they were 5-4 in series. After IEM, they were 7-2, but they still had that loss against KT. They still couldn't get past the Rocks Tigers. But then in playoffs, it all gelled. It all came together.
Well, there was a change after IEM, right? There was a distinct change.
Blank came in. They brought him to IEM. I think they didn't even bring Bengi. Just left him home. It's like, nope, we're training our new jungler. He's in now.
This is how it works.
Bengi could not shift again towards these carry junglers. Blank did. Hasn't had to do too much in this game. Had some good ultis. But overall, SKT as a team has just improved continuously so.
Definitely, as we said in the beginning, speaks mountains to the coaching staff, the structure, and all the players of the team. We're seeing it as a resounding status in each game.
Yeah, and the one constant, though, in all these SKT lineups now, since so many members have been cycled out, is still Faker.
Yep.
And he always shows up internationally.
Playmaker right now. 9-0-2. 11 out of those 18 kills on the board right now. 5-0-7 for Bang. Look at all across the board. The only one that's gone down is the guy that should be going down, is Wolf, the support.
Takes the bullet.
Every single time. And it looks like Bang in the mid. The accordion, if you will. Back and forth, as you would say. Trying to work either side of the map, spreading G2 as thin as possible. Make sure the resources can't be used even if you have them. Another inner turret down. The top one's going to be falling quite quickly to Duke here on his Poppy play. 193 to 155. 2-0-1 against Kikis' Gragas in the top lane, but that's all in the past. The future, the right now, and the present are the presence for SKT inside of G2's base. It's going to be a kill onto Trick. It's going to be an inhibitor. And right now, a Baroned up SKT could look to be going for a Nexus turret, but they will back off. They realize the home guards could be a problem, but they're actually just going to back in base.
Yeah, one of the first very clean 1-3-1s we've seen this tournament so far. Obviously, it helps when you're 15,000 gold ahead.
Yeah.
So, split up the lanes, eventually pick an opening, take down the inhib. SKT is in complete control. But yeah, very frustrating to see
this.
G2 here. Blank gets knocked in. Wolf walks, steps forward. Faker is just ignored. He's just having fun. He's like, you're dead. Now I'm gonna go for you. I'm dying, but I have Blank as my jungler, so he's gonna self-cast the ulti. No longer gets targeted on the allies. So Kindred actually needs to walk a little closer.
Yep.
But that change really did not matter too much for the jungler. Incredibly potent pick. And it does seem that the early Echo lock-in here backfired just a little bit for G2.
You saw that engage from Wolf too. He ulted and then walked up. That wasn't a headbutt pulverize. That was a here we come. Look, I'm staring you straight in the white of your eyes. Come at me,
I'll
bro.
give you the first punch.
He's taken a few first punches already. I'm sure he's happy to take a bunch. 6 seconds on to the Dragon. And SKT is just making sure they do this one by the book here. Back and forth, take each objective down, make our way to the Nexus turret with removing G2 from the map.
Yeah, walk into the base.
It's only been one turret for G2.
Take one down, you pass around, go into the other lane. 0 inhibitors on the wall. Very methodical, very clean, but this isn't the impressive part. The impressive part already happened. The way SKT dismantled G2.
Once again, the ultimate was just coming up for Wolf. He went in before he was even there. SKT is so sure the fight's with on the hunt there from Sivir, and they are just able to walk past the inhibitors. They're blurred out. There's not even turrets here that SKT has to fight by. They are not worried about anything on this side of the map. Looks like 24 minutes in, one of our fastest games, I should say, of the series. Kikis is going to be going down as he walks off the base. The Fountain of Safety is what we're renaming it, this one against SKT. They're going to be on to the Nexus. 2 worlds, 5 OGN splits in a very possible run now to an MSI championship. SKT takedown G2. Another day at the office. That's what that face is. Wow, such confident play. Each time they go into a fight, the team is there following up. And there's even more happening than you're expecting in the fight. We saw fights in the bot lane, and then there was another 2, 3, 4, not 2, 3, 4, but more fights going on across the map almost every time.
Yeah, SKT arrive here at MSI almost seemingly a better version of themselves. They were already looking incredibly strong in the LCK Spring Playoffs. Kind of made it almost a clean sweep. I think they dropped 2 matches, 9-2 in that playoffs. But G2, the opposite of their playoffs. They went back even worse than some of their matches at the start of the split.
Yeah.
Kikis right now, for me, he's a liability. He's not playing well. Trick isn't in sync with his team. Usually Trick works together with Perks, gets the vision in, makes the play, sets up the map, but he just revealed himself bot lane.
Bot lane, yeah.
He gave a canvas free for Blank to paint whatever he wanted, and he painted Kikis to death. Then the teleports were on cooldown, and the ball get rolling, and you saw just expert teleport usage overall from SKTelecom.
There is a universe, there is an option where that isn't punished by a team, right? But not at MSI, not when you're playing against the 5 number 1s. And that's what makes the difference here. Those plays have to be shored up. We heard a lot of it on the desk, where all these steals, all of these fights, all these go for brokes that almost don't need to happen are actually hurting teams quite a bit. Maybe they are testing themselves on the stage, right? But still, there's a lot more to be gained from finding those victories and finding how that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of happy campers on the analyst desk right here. The Fisho maybe not so much.
We'll see, we'll see. So for more on SKT's second win of the day, we are going to be sending it over to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I don't know about, well, Deficio's got his thumbs up. I'm not sure about happy campers, though, when expectations for G2 were much higher coming into this tournament.
About those expectations, you're selling Spawn on saying they're going to finish second.
I mean, it's obviously not my fault. He can't analyze himself. And
You're deflecting now. You're deflecting.
With that being said, no, I take full blame. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, this game...
Did you hear that? Deficio takes full responsibility.
That's disgusting to watch.
It was against SKT.
Yeah, sure.
And we don't know how far ahead of the rest of the world they are, because it looks like they're pretty damn far ahead.
Even then, like, so SKT obviously is playing near perfect in like almost every game they're playing since the playoffs.
Yes.
But
specifically, the second Rod of Ages was a beautiful
that was the key one.
And the flash on top of the dead body was really crucial in the victory.
And then G2 saying, guys, teleport timers, 20 seconds-ish, then we're ready. Like, all right, let's all in bot lane. Ah, Faker TP down. Who could have guessed? You know, these kind of solo queue mistakes are what G2's making right now.
Let's just go even beyond that. Kick is in the top lane. I don't even know if his skill order is like correct at the start of that game. He just
that
gets
was
shoved
poor
out by
progress.
Poppy. Like
Right.
Poppy should not be able to do that at the start of these games. He's just losing pressure. Like then all of a sudden his mid laner has to teleport top. They're just snowballing arrows around the map. Then it bleeds into bottom lane. And the jungler, like, you know, we're sitting there going like Trick isn't playing that well. When all three of your lanes lose,
Yeah,
like, what do you just throw it over your shoulder and
Makes it very hard to operate
Yeah.
in that situation. I mean, we mentioned too the first blood in the bot lane coming from the turret dive, Hybrid and Emperor sticking around far too long for absolutely no reason when Trick is on the opposite side of the map. If you don't have the jungle support, then you can't sit under your turret against a level 6 Alistar.
And when your AD carry has 2,000 gold, hasn't even gone back once and he's low, you just recall. You give up one wave at tower because you know the dive is coming, you have no teleports. Again, G2 is playing much more like a solo queue team. Their communication seems completely off. Every player is trying to make individual outplays when they don't have to.
But let's look at what actually SKT did in that dive, because they always take like the 100% sure thing. We're not going for anything more, and we're just gonna like keep accumulating this gold lead and then crush you with it. Because they turret dive, get one person, they burn one ulti, and no flashes, no exhaust, nothing. On the opposite end, what was a guaranteed kill? 3 summoner spells burnt to like try and save someone that was 100% dead.
Yeah, SKT plays so clean. They let us see how messy G2 really was coming into this one, and they need to clean it up as they hope to like play back into shape
Well,
throughout
I was gonna
MSI.
say, and here's the scary thing: you're starting 0-2 in a double round robin tournament. You only have so many games to play, and
8
when the
games
rest,
left.
exactly, when the rest of these teams are all at least 1-1. Or better, that you're jockeying for top 4 against, you put yourself in a really big hole.
The only positive thing about this for G2, and now we're talking really, really small, is the fact that they had SKT on day 1. So if they really need more time, more days to like get back in shape and like whatever fix communication, having SKT now is fine, because even at 100%, you weren't expecting to beat them.
Right, it's an
But
assumed loss.
We are talking small positive, because the way
very
they're
much
playing
so.
right now is awful.
And the other thing is, right, SKT, they play against the wildcard region and a slumping EU, but both of their drafts and their clinical execution, anyone watching that game, you're like, it doesn't matter the team, they're just playing the map by itself and the pick ban phase so damn well. This is a team that, like, even though they're smashing people, they're doing it before they even get on the Rift.
Yeah, and it's something about Koma. He always has very good draft phases, but at the same time, he has the absolute best players to work with for it. It's like, okay, what would the strongest theoretical composition be?
Right.
Oh, by the way, we're great at every single one of those champions.
all my
They're
players
not
can play
hindered
that.
by that. Like G2, they first picked Echo over the Rise. Maybe that's because Kikis thought he would need it in the top lane, because he definitely didn't play Gragas very well. I think they picked themselves into a corner, and we've seen other teams like Origin in Europe had to first pick Kindred.
Yeah, let's go back to that first
SKT
pick.
doesn't have any of those problems when they're doing this draft phase.
Yeah, absolutely not. But and you know, we saw the double target ban to Faker in the mid lane. We saw the Zillion Azir, and then Rise is left up, and you don't first pick it on the side of G2. What's going on there?
I mean, I agree with Jad on this. I kind of feel like it's them saying Kikis can't play against Duke's Echo. So right now, we will take it away and we can always flex it mid. The problem is just you leave yourself in almost losing situations no matter what, because the composition from SKT, we're close to the perfect composition in terms of like S-tier picks in the meta, like with Sivir, we know for Korean teams still being such a strong pick. So they just got absolutely everything. I didn't mind the Braum pick come in. I didn't mind the Graves, because it's something they've done before where they give Kindred early to then take Graves later. The first pick is just where it goes wrong, because if your answer is then flexing Echo mid and putting the Gragas top lane, which Kikis couldn't play, like at all, he missed almost everything in this game, your draft falls completely apart.
All right, well, SKT, another dominant victory for them. Back to the drawing board for G2 Esports. Shox, though, is standing by with SKT's 2-time world champion, so let's head downstairs for a word.
Thank you very much, Dash. I'm standing by here with Faker himself after going 2-0 on the day with SKT. First off, congratulations, of course, Faker. It looks like some of the other teams are having problems on the first day playing here, yet you guys look fantastic straight from the start. How do you think you did on day 1 of the tournament?
페이커 선수 우선 승리를 축하드립니다. 지금 1일차에 많은 팀들은 지금 경기력이 난조를 보이면서 좀 힘들어한 모습 보였었는데 이제 SKT1 팀은 가뿐하게 이승을 거뒀는데요. 1일차 경기력에 대해 평가한다면 어떠신가요?
우선 이번 1일차에서 저희가 생각했던 것보다 좀 더 잘 나왔고요. 이전에 저희가 연습 경기를 다른 팀들이랑 좀 많이 해봤었는데 그때는 좀 저희가 최대한 열심히 했음에도 불구하고 좀 많이 졌거든요. 근데 그렇기 때문에 좀 운도 좀 좋았던 것 같아요.
So I think we performed very well for our first day. During scrims before the tournament, even though we played our best, we struggled and lost a lot of games against other teams. So I think for today, we had some luck during our games, and overall, we did pretty well.
Well, I do have to ask you about your last game here specifically versus the European champion G2, and a lot of eyes were on Perks versus Faker. Of course, we want to know your opinion on the team and maybe on the mid lane matchup in specific.
그 이번 매치업이 어쨌든 유럽 챔피언과 이제 한국 챔피언 그리고 특히나 이제 유럽에서 가장 잘하는 미드라이너 손꼽히는 이제 퍽스 선수와 페이커 선수의 대결이었는데 많은 이제 관심도 모아졌고요. 경기를 해보니까 이제 상대 미드라이너 선수 퍽스 선수나 이제 G2 팀에 대해서 어떻게 평가하시나요?
G2 팀이 일단 이전에 결승전을 살짝 봤었는데 그때는 굉장히 잘했었는데 오늘만 봐서는 좀 그때 경기력이 많이 안 나오는 것 같고 이대로 가면 좀 G2도 많이 위험할 것 같아요.
So we watched their final game at the EULCS, and we thought they were a really good team at then. But I think today they kind of struggled and they didn't play as good as the EULCS finals. So I think if G2 maintains their game level as today, they would have a hard time at MSI.
Well, I think I can agree with that. When talking to a lot of people and the viewers as well, they think that SKT is an absolute favorite for this tournament, and it's kind of up to be decided who will be the second, third, and fourth place. Who do you think will be your biggest challengers this tournament, and why?
지금 많은 사람들이 이제 SKT1 팀이 MSI에서 가장 강력한 우승 후보라고 이제 거의 당연시하게 생각하고 있는데, 그럼 이제 반대로 이제 2, 3, 4등 중위권 싸움이 되게 치열할 거라 예상하고 있어요. 페이커 선수는 이제 우승에 가장 크게 걸림돌 낼 수 있는 견제되는 팀이 어디라 생각하시나요?
우선 최근에 그 오늘 경기만 봐도 RNG 경기력이 굉장히 좀 좋았던 것 같고요. 그리고 좀 중국은 좀 제가 언제나 좀 잘한다고 생각을 해서 RNG가 아무래도 좀 2등을 할 가능성이 높지 않을까 생각하지만 좀 다른 팀들도 2등이랑 크게 차이 없을 것 같아요.
Hey, watching today's RNG's game, I think they performed very well, and I don't know, I just think that LPL in general, they're very strong, and so I think RNG will get second place, and I'm not sure about other teams, but it's gonna be very hot competition for the second place for this tournament.
Well, you say RNG second place. Of course, we have to think back to last year's MSI, and SKT is such a successful organization, but that MSI title is not there, as last year you were bested by EDG. How important is it for you to this time take the title home here at MSI?
SKT1 팀이 이제 롤 모든 프로팀 중에서 가장 우승 경력이 많은 그런 엄청난 팀인데 유독 MSI 우승 타이틀만 없어요. 작년에 이제 EDG한테 지면서. 그래서 그만큼 이번 대회가 좀 이만 자세히 남다를 것 같은데 MSI 대회가 어떤 의미가 있나요? 페이커 선수한테는?
MSI가 저희가 우승하지 못한 대회라서 중요한 것은 아니고 저는 모든 그 우승이 중요하다고 생각하고요. 그리고 네, 그런 것 같아요.
Okay, it's not that MSI is important because we weren't able to win last year, but I just think that winning every tournament is like same amount of importance to me. So yeah, just winning MSI is very important for me and the team.
Yeah, winning MSI is important, but winning in general is important. I can stand behind that. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Faker and SKT. With 2 wins on the day, there's still 1 game left to play out here at MSI as Supermassive takes on RNG. We'll be right back with that last game of the day, so don't go anywhere.
Throughout it, gets the heal from Bang. They're going to be going for the full fight. Summoners used across the board, the exhaust as well from Wolf, and they're locking down the priority target.
Oh, that is absolutely sick.
What?
That's just disgusting.
I can't see him work back. 2 worlds, 5 OGN splits in a very possible run now to an MSI championship.